Why, good morning, you beautiful souls. Oh, I appreciate everyone's patience. Definitely enjoying a nice, cozy morning. And loving on yourself is kind of the theme of receiving divine love. So we're in alignment already. Now, when you get into the spiritual unfoldments, things can get pretty paradoxical because ultimately, receiving divine love is a little bit of a cul-de-sac here because you are love. But as it goes in life, we tend to be our own saboteurs. And in this realm of self-sabotage, we're really going to be unpacking the internal resistance that we have to really allow that flower, that lotus, that blossom to unfold. When we feel at our peak, when we feel at our best, it's effortless, it's easeful. There's no trying, there's no doing, it's just existing, it's just being. And the goal is to tap into that this morning. So get your last few wiggles out. Go ahead and shake it out. We're going to be doing a little bit more guided breath just to kind of calm the nervous system. So we'll begin here with just a nice big inhale through the nose and opening the jaw. A nice relaxed breath. Reach to the sky with this next breath. Fill yourself up fully. And with your exhale, a nice slow release. Lower those arms. And we'll begin. When you hear the first 3 taps of the singing bowl, allow yourself to take a nice deep breath in with each sound of the bowl as it rings. And as you exhale, transmute that breath into a mighty and powerful Om. Opening the jaw, relaxing the mouth, and a slight smile on your face. Allow that note to resonate in the heart space. And as you close the mouth, the U and the M will form naturally, and that vibration will travel up through the throat into the crown. Release the body of breath here. Pay no attention to what needs to be done today. Allow yourself that opportunity to be here, fully immersed in the only moment you ever lived through and in, the now. We welcome and invite every aspect of our beingness here this morning to be present, to participate, and to rest. When you hear this final tap of the singing bowl, shift your attention to the bowl as it rings. And as it fades into silence, so too allow the dust to settle internally. Shifting your focus to the silence and the words being spoken to you. Allow yourself to take deep breaths, starting in the diaphragm that sacral center, expanding the stomach with your inhale, filling up those lower lungs before you transition to filling up the upper lungs and the chest. Slow, yet gentle, full breaths. We do this to calm the body, to bring it back into its infant breath. And as we go at our own pace, these slow and rhythmic patterns calm the tensions, allowing the energy to move freely, allowing the body to rest into a deeper relaxation with each breath. Distancing ourselves from the intimacy of our form is one of the first steps at receiving that divine love. And as spoken earlier, the paradox here is that you are the love we are seemingly seeking to receive. For love is the backdrop of our beingness. It's the ground of our existence. It's what everything is connected by. And through it we live. But our love gets diverted into the form, into the flesh, into bodily attachment and identification. This is why we must calm the horse, allow the flesh to rest, and take dominion over the first plane of existence we are tasked to take rulership over. The truth about it is the body loves what we are. And once it tastes that love, that peace, that effortlessness, it will lean into it. It truly adores it more than any external happening. For there is no substance. There is nothing to be consumed. There is nothing that takes precedent over it. For love is everything. Continue to take those slow, deep, rhythmic breaths. We can look at the tensions that come up when we allow ourselves to rest. But I encourage you to approach this meditation just as you approach sleep. Rest within yourself. Pay no attention to the happenings of the mind. Yet when you give the body this task of breathing, it tends to divert its energy towards the task at hand. Ensure you're sitting upright, but not too tense, allowing for your energy to flow freely and fully. If you feel clicks and pops, tinglings and sensations, pay them no attention. One must not be distracted by the inner or the outer happenings. When you're in the theater of the mind, simply observe it and watch it like a film. But with that same demeanor as you are when you are in a cinema, quietly, silently. It's this gentle approach that allows those first aromas to be observed and smelled. For when you unfold spiritually within, the pureness of your being, that presence of love, levity, calm, and relaxation is inevitable. And that is the purpose here of this existence. To bring that spiritual self into lockstep with our physical self, converging at the center point of our heart, of our soul. To be that representative of our divine light in this physical existence. And it is that same essence of our spiritual self that allows that divine love to express and radiate in this reality, in this physicality. So in these moments, do not be distracted by anything coming up within you. Simply observe it all. But ultimately, do not be distracted. Allow the breaths to soothe the body's need to act. Allow it to sleep while your consciousness remains awake here in this present moment. For the movement and the flow of spirit is gentle. It's calm. It's centered. Again, allowing yourself to take a full breath here. And when you've filled yourself up completely, gently hold as long as you can comfortably, but pay the body no attention. Focus on these words and allow the body to take over the breathing. It will exhale and release when it needs to, and it'll continue its breath without your command. For when this flower unfolds within you, your full attention can go towards that which is observed, the aroma, the flavors of calm, the joy and jubilation. And if you don't yet, have a smile on your face. For we're training the body to again remember and fall in love with the practice that brings its fulfillment. The purest high, the greatest excitement, the juiciest of moments we live through is when we're aligned with spirit. It's not something that you have to force, but you have to make space for it. That loving choice. To shift your beingness towards your intangible nature. Letting go of the stories, letting go of the assumptions, letting go of this personal existence, and allowing life to simply be. And it's when we get out of the way that the nature of our existence unfolds fully. For the love in which we are is always trying to break through. It's a flow of water that is always flowing. When we allow ourselves the grace, the conscious effort and actions to clear away the channel of our own vessel, it will naturally arise. And this is where we enter into that realm of the intuition, of the intangible, the knowings without any analytical thought or thinking, the intuitive hits that seemingly take us to the perfect place right at the perfect time. It's what allows us to know before we truly and fully know. And the invitation, now more than ever in our lifetime, is to align with our spirit. But the soul must fall in love with it. And there is a difference, there is a distinction. To receive divine love, we must understand that there is a difference between the body, spirit, soul, and source. What ties everything together is our Creator, pure and infinite. It is where our power stems from, that breath and gift of life. And your body is your vehicle for this plane of existence, this playground of learning and growth. Many have heard me refer it to the horse, and it is the soul that is the rider. For the soul is the bridge between the heavenly realm and the earthly realm. And what many call our higher self is our spiritual self. It is our spirit. It is the eternal nature of our existence that always lies beyond this realm. It is that which knows the totality of everything we've lived through, all of the reincarnations. Yet the writer, this soul, is very much so like the saved game file. It is what we continue to refine. The more we are willing to open ourselves up to these knowings, the faster, the quicker, and the more stable that this bridge of connection will be, bridging the gap and bringing our spiritual sense into this physical realm. Allowing yourself to know and understand that there are two worlds being lived through you. And we tap into them unconsciously, subconsciously. But that aroma of love, that experience of no mind, the effortlessness and easefulness that we have in the day-to-day is just that balancing act of spirit and matter, of our divine and eternal self, and the temporary, one-of-a-kind experience. You can see the soul as the pupil. It is nothing but space. But when it dilates and contracts, it changes what we perceive, what we experience. Your soul is the fulcrum. And the more that you lean into these gentle and calm moments of simply being, that soul dilates and fully expands, allowing those spiritual waters to flow through. And that is the beautiful nature of this experience. The more you lean in, the more you receive. So I open up my heart to you. And the invitation is to open up your heart to yourself, to your spirit, to Source. A simple invocation and command. Body, as you rest. Spirit, I call you in. Source, allow it to be, to feel and radiate your love. And simply be present for the show. Do not wait around. Do not look for. Know that you are the bottleneck to this experience of love. And if there are any distractions that are internally coming up at these moments, this far in, know that they are trying to take you away from the beautiful opportunity of unity. For that is the role of the physical body, is to challenge you, to test you, to refine the grit of the soul. And your spiritual self is always waiting to give you a big hug. And just as Source is always waiting for us to return home to these knowings of love. And allow yourself to take a nice deep breath here. Again, filling the lower lungs before you fill up the chest and taking a full breath. Gently hold it again as long as you can comfortably. Just like any relationship, just like any practice, it gets easier. But it takes consistency. One doesn't need to be sitting in a meditation to align themselves with their spiritual knowings. We must simply disengage from the constant, frantic nature of the flesh. To take these deep breaths and like a ray of light clearing clouds, making the blue sky visible. Every time we return to this gentle nature, the body will remember and relax. And just as those pupils open up to receive more light, you will receive more of that divine and heavenly grace of your spiritual self. And in lockstep, the alignment of the soul and the body and your spirit will become harmonized at perfect balance. That statement of "you are the bottleneck" is that reference to the soul being the fulcrum, the balancing point of that seesaw between flesh and spirit. The more you bring yourself into that calm, harmonious state, the less the seesaw will wobble. And then you awaken into something beautiful. You awaken to the body's natural primal intelligence, the gut knowings, the energetic sensitivities, which becomes met with the spiritual, the intuition, the grace. And at the center point of your heart, the soul, it will radiate and expand that divine love, the creator, the ground of our being. So much so that in any moment, laughter may break out, tears of joy, and most notably, the purest aroma of peace. We'll take one more breath together. Big inhale here. And if you need to, lifting the shoulders as you exhale, dropping them. When you hit this next tap of the singing bowl, we'll again take an inhale, the sound of the bowls it rings. And with your exhale, transmute that into a powerful and mighty Om. Release the body of breath here. Namaste. I bow to divine within you. Wouldn't be a juicy love and source meditation if you didn't just have some tears coming through. There's been a deeper unfoldment of knowing these past few weeks and these past few days, and even yesterday. I find that this is a very advantageous and opportunistic time to lean into these invitations, for we're all just like right there at tipping the scale towards total realignment, unfoldment, evolution, growth, shedding, level ups. But it takes that conscious effort to clear the channel, make the space. And I hope that through this practice, the taste and glimpses that you were able to experience will motivate you to lean into that more in the waking state, in the everyday operation, because there's no difference from a meditation to what you can carry into the living world, And that is the kind of the main goal here. You are love, but we also get in the way of love. And we can tap into more love to radiate and feel and experience more love. But it really comes down to us. And just to really reiterate the visual here, we have that balancing point of our spiritual sense of self. We have the primal, we have the body, the horse, and we have our spirit, the eternal, the intangible. And what it's all resting on, I'm not going to try to balance it here. We'll just hold it like that. It'll make it look like it's one finger, though. That fulcrum is the soul. And we can see when the soul is more identified with the flesh, we lean. And when we go through the spiritual process of awakening and unfoldment, we tend to kind of just really flip that back to the spirit. However, everything is resting on that foundation, that ground of source. And you have to have an intimate relationship with all four. You have to know what the body fully needs in its healing. You have to understand it. It's your best friend. It's your noble steed. And you have to open yourself up to that spiritual sense of self, which is really just like all the juiciness of life: courage, fire, love, passion, joy, but gentle and calm, smooth and collected. And the soul is that beautiful in between that gets to experience and kind of play and understand both. It's what allows those natural gifts to come through, and it really is what we are. In the sense of the reincarnated self, it's the gifts, it's the natural habits, it's the kind of inclinations, it's all the cool stuff that we get to play with here. Really, truly bridging both. It's like the artistic fuel of spirit, and the analytical scientist of the primal creates this beautiful modality of expression, and that is what we are. That's the gift of life. But when we're disconnected from source, the ground of being, and we're in service to self, we'll always be out of alignment. And that's the beautiful thing here, is that Creator loves us so much. Like our teams that are always here around us, they love us so much that they're always encouraging us and leaning in. And sorry, feeling emotional at this point, because it's like happy tears. Like all of those beyond the veil are like cheering us on to tap into this stuff, to really be God's representatives on earth, to really express that Christ energy, to follow in the example of the Christ, Yeshua, Jesus. And these are all things that I know in my personal spiritual search I was pushing away, but as it goes, you come back to the things that life is always meant to reveal to you when you're ready. And it's only one step at a time. But the greatest step that you can do is to make space for this type of a practice in your daily life and daily operation. I implore you, I encourage you, because the kind of in the flow cinematic spiritual experiences will just get more and more aligned in the day-to-day operation, and then you're just living in a whole different world. So with that, I encourage you, dabble in it, dive into it deep, and enjoy. I love you so much. May the fruit of knowledge offer a seed, and in that seed may your love, will, and intuition give life and nourishment, for a tree shall grow. and initiate, may you find peace and offer peace to all whom ask. We are all love. I am love. And so are you. Don't ever forget. So is everything else. So is everyone else. I love you so much. I'll tap in with you next week. Peace.